I hear you can build just about anything with whatever parts you have lying around. Well, I'll give you a challenge. We got some old catalogs over there. Somewhere in that distance is a broken down laptop. And scattered around the house are assorted Lego bricks. Think you can build me a supercomputer out of that? Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. We're taking another look at a Generation 1 figure. This is Huffer. Now, Huffer would be released in 1984. He would also be available in 1985. He would be discontinued for 1986, but his body would be extremely retooled to make pipes, who came out in 86 when Huffer was taken off the shelves. Huffer does serve, like Larry mentioned, as a construction engineer for the Autobots, being able to build almost anything they could want. However, as a side bit for Huffer, they added in that he is very lonely and homesick for Cybertron. So he's one of the few Autobots that definitely doesn't like being stuck on Earth. And of course, this is a 1984 version of Huffer, because he doesn't have the rub sign here. He's definitely an interesting looking little fellow. Although I would like to have had him get real hands instead of having just the exhaust pipes there on the end. But hey, we all can't be choosers, can we? Now, while Huffer has been around for a number of years, being a 1984 original, he hasn't had quite as many toys made of him as a lot of the other Transformers. In fact, the only version of Huffer I have is the Kingdom issued Huffer. And this version of Huffer was designed more for the fans of the old school cartoon as well, since it does match his appearance a little bit better. Plus, this Huffer was designed so that it could pull the trailer that came with Optimus Prime. Something that was shown in in one episode of the cartoon, but the toys were unable to replicate. But that's mainly due to the fact that G1 Huffer and G1 Optimus Prime were designed for two different toy lines by the same company. So they had no compatibility at that time. Huffer here, of course, has no loose accessories. And the only thing he has for articulation is that we can rotate his arm at the shoulder all the way around, but it does tend to catch a bit around his head due to the truck cab being the basis for his head. Now, of course, to transform Huffer, it's a simple process. We start by rotating his arms downwards so that the arms go out the back and act like smokestacks. And then press them inside like so. We'll take the head section and fold it backwards. And it should go over these two little plastic posts here. Like that. And then you push his legs flush against his body. And he becomes a small semi-truck. Many fans have tried to guess at what exactly model of truck he is, but I think it's more meant to be a fictionalized version of a semi-truck than a real one. But again, that's just my opinion. Unlike some of his buddies, he only comes with plastic wheels, so how does he roll on them? Rolls pretty good. And for once out of many of these, he didn't run into Larry's foot. Of course, I think Larry's finally getting smart and hiding a little further back. Get Huffer back here into his robot mode. As we'll reach over here, thank you, Larry, for holding this. We have his card backer. This is the 1985 version of his card backer because it has him as the robot in here because they put a picture of the vehicle mode next to him. And of course on the back side it has the 1985 mural, which heavily featured the Insecticons and the Dinobots. Up here would have been a set of instructions on how to use the rub sign, but somebody cut that off on this one. We have his instructions, which go from robot to vehicle. Beneath that is the barcode, and it also has the robot points. Huffer was worth half a point. And we'll turn it to the side here so we can look at his tech spec card. It's primarily done in red to show that he was an Autobot. It even says Autobot above the picture. And the picture is a slightly different angle of the picture on the front of the card. It lists Huffer's function as construction engineer. And a quote associated with him is, "Molecular structure is the key to success." Huffer is cynical, hard-boiled, and pessimistic. He looks at the world through sludge-colored windshields. Will complain it can't be built, then builds it anyway. Not too sociable, but absolutely reliable. Arms sensors can test materials for strength, heat resistance, elasticity, etc. Extremely strong. Superior mathematical and geometrical abilities. Often unhappy and homesick for Cybertron. So Huffer here would definitely be a good candidate to encourage STEM studies, since of the fact that he uses it quite a lot in his work. It would be nice to see Huffer get some more attention given to him. Now we move over here to the grid. Normally we would need a decoder to read the numbers, but I can do it pretty well. It gives his strength as 7, his intelligence is 8, his speed is 5, his endurance is 7, his rank is 6, his courage is 8, his firepower is 1, and his skill is 9. So, aside from having pretty much weak firepower and about average speed, Huffer's pretty good at what he can and can't do. So now we get to my thoughts. What do I think of Huffer? Huffer's an interesting little character, and one that is vital for the Autobots to have, since he can build a lot of different things. Although some of it seems more on the mechanical side, which would fall under Wheeljack, but having somebody that can take worthless scrap and turn it into something that's usable is definitely a skill that comes in handy. From the way that things were depicted, especially in the Transformers cartoon, the Autobots would be somewhat similar akin to the Rebel Alliance featured in Star Wars, as the Rebels were often cut off from getting major funding or being able to have major corporations supply them with equipment to keep the war effort going. So, characters that could take nothing and build it into something were certainly valuable to their army, since you would need to be able to improvise ways that normally wouldn't be thought of in order to succeed. And that's a trait that I would have liked to have seen exploited more with Huffer in the media. It would have been nice to see that he could do that. Even if it would be somewhat far-fetched, because I know a lot of engineers and scientists would question how it was done and whatnot. And to many of them, I remind them, this is fiction. It doesn't have to be proven that it can be done, but it should be encouraged to show that if you do apply your mind to things, it can be done. And to think outside the box. So, the Transformer line certainly needs to bring guys like Huffer more into the fray. As for the toy itself, it's not too bad, if you can overlook the fact that you can't identify what kind of truck he is. Biggest thing you gotta worry about is, of course, the chrome on the arms. And the hinge for his head. That is very fragile. At any rate, that's my look at Generation 1 Huffer. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you love the content we feature on this channel, I would appreciate a like, a share, and a comment, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. This is Sparkster1701 saying I will catch you all later.